Hi, welcome to Down About Thailand in a nondescript location here in Thailand. You see, it's the most difficult of times to discuss travel in Thailand during this COVID uncertainty. A time when last year, perhaps, we felt we were getting on top of things and, we had the 2.5 months lockdown, March, April, that period, and after that, it felt like the rest of the world was out of control and we were safe. But of course, there's been the outbreaks here, and since December, really, we've had to not lock down. I guess that's the word that we can't use, but certainly restrict non-essential travel. Which, for Down About Thailand, where much of my content is based absolutely on travelling around some of these beautiful places in Thailand, and I must say, near the latter part of the year where I was out and about, some of these locations are looking just stunning. Let's whet your appetite for when we are able to jump on aeroplanes again and come back into Thailand. If you thought these islands were paradise, then they've notched it up another level. But that's small price to pay for the desperate times business in these tourist-centric locations are finding, and it's absolutely desperate. I spoke to a number of business owners in F&B in Pattaya, right across to hoteliers all over the place, from Koh Chang, Bangkok, down to Phuket. And, it was tough anyway. Some of these hotels closed. Were fortunate enough, in fact, the industry was fortunate enough last year to be on part of the furlough scheme, which meant that staff were able to have some of their salaries paid. This hasn't happened now, which has put an extra burden on businesses. But even last year, when initially the hotels closed, they had to then at some point reopen and rely absolutely on the domestic market, which TAT really got behind with a number of initiatives, both for Thais and expats. And really, I saw the expat market, remarkably niche. But the luxury of targeting, especially the retiree market, is one, they've got time on their hands so they can travel midweek. Secondly, the pensions haven't been hit, and they were a notable segment to target. Even with these long weekends, Thais only have so much money in their pockets. But what we saw last year is, as the months progressed and hotels needed to open again, you can't stay closed forever. It placed more pressure on the travel industry. With only so many people available to travel domestically and more hotels opening, it just diluted the potential. And I remember at some point last year, I think it was back in June, I was in Phuket, and one of the hotels I was at, beautiful 5-star beachfront, running at 2% occupancy. Koh Lanta, just a shadow of itself. I mean, it was quiet before. Now it's like nothing's there. But we have to be concerned, and certainly I can't be seen to be promoting travel at this time. It will be careless, really. Now there's not even a domestic travel market. Just imagine what pressure that's placed on restaurants and hotels and attractions that can't even monetize the local opportunity. And if that wasn't worse, there's no furlough scheme. So these businesses are having to carry these losses. And it makes it just, my heart goes out to these guys. I don't know what the future is, and we don't know when there will be a recovery. The one thing that Thailand has done since COVID broke out across the world has managed it remarkably well. And the people here, we haven't got these stupid individuals that I'm seeing back in the Western world that are saying they've got a right not to wear masks and fail to understand they're part of society and somehow think that this thing's a conspiracy. Ludicrous, but no need to talk about them. At least over here in Thailand, there's some common decency and people will put their masks on. They did it before when they were ill, so it's not really a cultural change. And in fact, with the smog that we saw in Bangkok, quite often when I was on the BTS, everyone had their masks on. Hand sanitisation is just second nature, and temperature checks wherever we go. So I'm sure Thailand will get on top of this latest outbreak locally, but we don't know when the rest of the world will, even with the vaccines. So how long can the travel industry continue to survive? What do you do? Lay staff off? Slash salaries? Still got your electricity bills and water bills and rents. This time though, you've got no customers, so there's no cash coming in. Just incredibly difficult. Almost mission impossible. To think that 2020 was viewed as the Achilles heel, maybe it was just the warm-up. Like I say, I'm sure that we'll see a recovery here in Thailand. It's just how quickly the rest of the world are able to get their vaccines, and then what appetite will we see from people wanting to travel. I mean, I don't know how hard some people back in the UK, Australia, India, China, how hard they've been hit, and how quickly it will open up again. All I do say is I just hope for a recovery very soon. I'm going to have to restrict any kind of vlogs that look to promote an area, even if it's on my doorstep. That's not the case. And I thought for that reason it was better just to put a nondescript location in the background. Thailand's looking beautiful, as enchanting as ever. So let's wish for a quick recovery across the world, and to see you guys back in this country again, enjoying it the way it was before. From Dan About Thailand, hope to see you soon. Stay safe.